Okay, so today's training is on how to fill in a lease listing agreement. So we have the property picked out, which is right here. Talking to the homeowner, we just actually property to the investors. So I already have the address, which I'm going to pull up first. So you have an access to it. 24, this number is 2K. It just closed. Let me find it. Because all we're doing right now is we're actually just filling out the lease listing agreement. But there is some info that I need on the property. So this one just closed yesterday, okay? Excuse me. So we're taking the information from here and we're putting it into the actual win form. So we're going to go ahead and press transaction, press new listing. We'll do new lease listing taken. Or you could just put lease listing 23412 Pacific Park, number 2K. We'll do residential, and we should have a KW Irvine lease listing, or it just says agent lease listing template ready to go. So then you go to documents, and you need a disclosure, because on this one, the lease listing agreement doesn't have the agency disclosure automatically there. So I already know the information for the new owner, which is now the landlord. Issued. Perfect. We'll put our brokerage if it hasn't filled in, and we're working on the template. So a lot of this basic stuff should already be filled in via the templates on WinForms, just so you know. If they're not, fill them in. Okay. Agency, which is basic. It's a landlord transaction, one landlord. There you go. Then save that. Go back to documents, or go back. Then click the lease listing agreement, okay? Excuse me. Put in today's date, double click. Put in today's date because we're going to start it today, double click. Lease listing agreements, we go 3 months on average. 1, 2, 3. So October 13th, okay? So City of Aliso Viejo for this one. County of Orange. Described as 23412 Pacific Park, number 2K. And the majority of the time, WinForms will auto-populate and find it. But in the event that it doesn't, like I don't see it anywhere here, you just fill it in and keep going. Okay. Rent amount, we already know she's okay with $22.95 per month. Security deposit also going to be $22.95. 1 year tenancy is on average what we fill out. And all fixtures and fittings included in the lease. So refrigerator. And the one thing I don't remember is if the washer and dryer are included. Let me just double check. Because everything was an appliance, dishwasher, refrigerator, no washer and dryer that I remember. So we're going to leave that off. I know the fridge is in there for sure. And mind you, when you typically fill out the lease listing agreement, you want to have an idea of all of these items that have been asked for by the landlord. But since we just sold it, I remember a lot of these by memory. And then compensation, normally we do 6% of the first year's rent amount. Yet this person was an investor. They bought this investment through us, and we're going to help them automatically rent the property out. Our rule of thumb at Fred Said Group is that when an investor buys a home with us and immediately rents it out through us, the listing side of the commission is free. So we're only going to charge the tenant side of the commission, which is 3%. And then on here, I always put 60 days, because what this says on a rental listing or a sale listing is within 60 days after the listing period is over, which is October 13th, and we're supposed to give them immediately by October 13th a list of people that we showed the property to. So if it expires and we can't get the job done If any one of the tenants or agents that showed it during the time that we had the listing and we provided a list of those names and they rented out right after within 60 days, we are still entitled to our commission. I've actually never had that happen. I've never had to enact it, but you still want to go ahead and put that in there, okay? So what we want to go ahead and do is keep going down. This should be filled out with the rest of the info, 92656. I always check this box right here. So tenants' payments will be given to the owner, and I always put the following: all move-in funds and monthly rent will go directly to the owner. This property, we're not doing any property management, so all the funds go directly to owner in the beginning and on a monthly basis. Owner does authorize us to use a lockbox, okay? We're not going to put a for sale for lease sign on this premises, so I'm not going to check that. If we were, we would check that. Lead-based paint section, the property was constructed on or after 1971. Yes, it was. If you look at the MLS sheet, we already know that. As far as mold goes, owner has no reports pending except, so owner has no reports, which they don't, of any mold, right? Asbestos. Owner has no reports of mold, okay? There is no regular pest control service. Meth contamination, there's nothing aware about that. Nobody's aware about anything. Water submeters, there's no submeters on this. Carbon monoxide, it does have carbon monoxide. It does have smoke detectors, okay? The premises was built on or after 1994. Let me just double check when it was built. Again, just so in this situation, 1990. Let me go back to that disclosure at the bottom. It was built prior to that, and that's all we're going to check because that's all we know. Okay. Then next page. Keep going down. Everything is basic, already filled in, basic terms and conditions. If the property was in a trust, which in this situation, actually it isn't a trust because you just bought the property, but we can change it after the fact. You would check this and you would have the representative capacity document. But in this situation, since it just closed and I don't have the trust documents with me, we're going to go ahead and just put it in her personal name. Okay. So after this, all the information down here is correct. Last page, put our information, our number, email, listing agent. And that's exactly how you type up a lease listing agreement. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'll go back. I'm going to save as PDF because I'm going to download documents. Although this document, I'll save them into my device. That I'm also going to do while we're on this training is how to DocuSign. Keep that down. Actually, I'll do that in the next video. So this training is basically done. So that's basically how you fill out a lease listing agreement and get it set up. And I'll do the other training right now just so you have it as well.